Hello and welcome everybody to another exciting stream. I went into the living room and pissed off my kids for not picking them up. All right, how's everybody doing today? Casting robe. I was planning on just doing a little bit of leveling. I still need to get my dancer up to Bosnia level. So I figured we could do something. If you guys want to join, feel free. If not, don't worry. If you don't have anything to level and you just want to like hang and help out, feel free. Like that is totally cool. Dancer and astrologian are my last two jobs to level. Am I finding dancer initially? It's not bad. It's pretty good. Very few buttons, or I'm forgetting something like to add something crazy. I've never been a huge fan of the RNG stuff, but it is incredibly flashy, and that makes up for basically all of that. I love animations almost more than anything when it comes to like a job for like feel and then how interesting the rotation is. So a little bit of variability in there, flashy moves and a lot of mobility. But if there are things that I should be hitting to improve, I am open to comments based on that. I know some people feel awkward about like giving advice, but then they overcorrect and like try and be kind of like rude funny. Like, oh, I really wish you were hitting this more, because my it hurts so bad to see you not play optimally on a job that you just picked up. Why are you doing that? It's like probably because I'm not playing optimally on a job I just picked up. You silly goofballs. I like to improve, and I know I can improve. And there are a lot of things that I still just don't figure out. I think Monk is the only job where I, at one point, was figuring out optimal like openers week one kind of a thing. Like I would figure stuff out and then hear about the openers and be like, oh yeah, that's basically what I figured too. Samurai took me a little bit because I didn't understand the mathematics behind how people were mathing out the potency to Kenki ratio. So the potency wasn't just the potency of the attack, it was how much Kenki was being spent per potency that you were getting. So I was like, oh, right. So that one was, I don't know if you want to say complicated, but more in depth than I anticipated. People were initially kind of rude about that on the forums. Because I was trying to like be helpful and post to the subreddit and be like, all right, this is what I kind of mathed out. What do you guys think? And they're like, well, we've been talking about this for a while about, you know, this or that being optimal. I'm like, all right, what are you talking about? Because I didn't see that. And then they're like, oh, this. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Samurai at 80's just got a lot of buttons. Not that inherently is a necessarily bad thing. It's just a lot to organize, I think. Yeah, they're really afraid of utility in 14. They're afraid that if they do it too much, then the jobs that have this utility are going to be meta, like way more in demand. And the thing is, even with the small discrepancies in jobs right now, meta still exists, and they're never going to have a perfect balance, I don't think. But the fact still remains that 14 does a really good job of balance in general, where you can still clear content perfectly well with basically any type or any job setup, as long as you're not like multiple jobs. I think some jobs can still perform really well in content regardless of the buffs that you lose out on for having multiple people in a group, or multiple jobs in a group, diversifying a little bit. That's what I remember him saying, but I could be I've misquoted Yoshi P in the past on accident, so definitely consider some research on that. Different things are strong. Yeah, like that's the thing, is each one having their own strengths is a good thing, and as long as at one point you can make up for that it's not like an overall you are just losing out for not taking this job in general. That's the thing. I mean, tanks are pretty much utility in general, I think. But I think having... I don't know how it would go, honestly. Having a tank that is basically meant for off-tanking. Because then you'll have people like, but I want a main tank with it. And yeah, I think more people would get their jimmies rustled to that than appreciate it. This is why I enjoyed the idea of specs. Maybe not making entirely new jobs. And I know that World of Warcraft definitely didn't do it well, so there's a bad taste in people's mouths. And people are like, if they're gonna add like that many jobs, it's gonna be too hard to balance. I'm like, Yoshi P wants to keep this game going for 10 years. How many jobs do you think he's gonna be adding over that time? Maybe not strictly double what we have right now, but I really think that we're gonna hit that issue at some point eventually, and exacerbating it definitely isn't the answer, for sure. But instead of adding maybe new jobs or whatever, just adding some variability in what each job is capable of. Because if you had an off-tank spec that maybe focused on, like you get certain abilities that focus more on supporting the party than outright tanking, that might be neat. But then you have the option of going straight tank. And then if Bard wanted to take stuff that was strictly like based around their arrows or just sit in the back playing songs, I think that works. As long as you're adding enough DPS to the team to compensate for you not being there. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts along those lines. Maybe not making them entirely new jobs, but giving them different focuses with the same general kits. Yeah, but I don't know. Like Astro should have been, I think, like remained a supporty type of healer. I think leaning into the Time Mage rather than the Divination aspect of it would have been a lot better. Like, just take the RNG out and allow them to boost or buff or do different kinds of things. Like, Time Dilation was really cool. Like, extending buffs on a member, on people. But, like, I still want to see haste in the game. I want to see... I don't mind, like, damage buffs being in there, but you can always, like, I don't know, flavor it differently, I suppose. Again, this is a bad suggestion or critique, because I don't really know... I don't have a clear vision on how to fix, or, like, what to do. So I don't like really giving a whole lot of input of... Because it causes, I think, more frustration on the side of the developers to be like, okay, you don't like it, but what about it don't you like? Like, what do you want instead? Kind of a thing. And if I can't answer that question, I try and keep my mouth shut. Haste Arrow only sucked because of TP. If we had haste now, I would love it. No, I liked it. That's just a difference of opinion there. I thought it would have been fantastic if not. Like, I know, oh, my stuff's not lining up or whatever, but you're getting... I love being fast. Yeah, that's another challenge, I guess, of the rotation-based system, is that I guess they really limited themselves on what they're able to do buff-wise because everything's rotation-based. So you can't have nice things without people making the rest of the kit feel uncomfortable, I suppose. It doesn't really bother me that much, obviously. But if you're really worried about being optimal. Oh, and my game crashed. Awesome. It's been happening more and more recently. I actually don't know when the job action trailers were released. I remember when we got to see them. June, July. So released in July. So that was 2 months in advance. And it's coming out in November. So probably we're looking at September. August, September. If we're going on the same pace. Yeah, back to the Astro convo. Like, people always joke now, like, oh, what about Arrow? Lol. I'm like, bring it. Bring it back. I want it. I want to get all the Bosnia haste gear and just go ham. Go friggin' wild. Uh-oh. Hi, it's me, Drac. I'm dead. Another thing about the data center visit, it should be cool. I'm more looking forward to not having to listen to people complain about their alts when getting them to raid together. But everybody's always like, well, on my other character, if only I could bring my other character. Well, if I had my alt, if I had my main, well, if my main was here, well, thing is, if I had my main, it's like, alright, we get it, you don't have your main job right now, your main character. That'll be neat, but it doesn't really affect me, because I've tried leveling an alt, and I absolutely hate it, so... Leveling is still one of my, like, highest critiqued parts about this game. I really hate how they handle... leveling. How long it takes, how they spread out what skills you get. It could be done a lot better, I think. Ooh, wisdom teeth removal, always a fun time. Hope you're hanging in there okay. I had oral surgery at the exact same time as my wisdom teeth getting removed. They were just like, let's just do it all at once. So, not having solid food for a year was fun. That was a great time. My jaw was actually, like, my palate could not handle the pressure of chewing for a really long time. I also realized I have I don't believe it's, like, problematic or anything. Like, every time I go into the dentist, they don't say anything about it. But, those, like, bony growths, I forget what they're called. They have a funny name. Yeah, I thought I just had, like, the roots of my teeth were just going a little wild. And I was like, oh no, that's like something totally different. Bone spur, I don't think it's just called a spur. They're smooth. More people are saying spur, and I'm wondering if I'm wrong now. Oh yeah, and on top of not being able to chew anything, I couldn't suck anything. Ha 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 ha. So yeah, straws were off limits. That was, or at least they were very uncomfortable to use. So what could I eat? Like, mashed potatoes, most of my food got put into a blender. I don't know why they even make baby food the way they do. It's gross. Why are we feeding it to our children? But I also had this metal device in my mouth that was being used to spread my top palate, because I sucked my thumb for too long as a kid, and it narrowed it out. So that's what the surgery was for, to make that soft enough to expand. So I had a little torture device in my mouth that would get a quarter turn every day or so, along with braces, along with my wisdom teeth out. It was rough. My 16th year of life was not pleasant. Or was I 15 at the time? I think I was 15. Still sucked. Who isn't looking forward to Endwalker? I'll probably go through the story as a monk, and then go back and level Reaper. Since we've got until Christmas to do the raid, not a whole heck of a lot of pressure there. I'll probably level a tank third then, because they're not adding a new tank. DPS is always... Oh, DPS was in demand actually for a little bit, I remember. Have I done the newest Lufenia yet? Yes, I actually beat that one the other night. I thought Ealdnark was a caster, so I didn't take him in through my first few tries. I'm like, this is hard. This is really hard. Like, with these abilities just clap. You know, people being cute in my chat there, like, oh, you guys just need more health. I'm like, ha ha ha. And no, he is a ranged. He is a ranged fighter, and laughs at anybody thinking that they can take a turn. And then when they try to take a turn, he's like, no, my turn. Dude, I love him so much. Yeah, I actually don't. I haven't built Lightning. I don't have her stuff. I just started playing seriously a couple months ago. Oh my gosh. But I'm slowly getting up there. I started really playing seriously in Garland's burst, so I got him all built up. Then, oh my sweet goodness, this thing hates us. Yeah, El just turned tonight, and then I have like Garland in there as well. But I actually like having El Like, I like them trying to take turns because it builds up his EX bar, just taking turns. He doesn't have enough abilities, so I just... His health... Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? I didn't get hit at least by that one, but holy crap! That was 4 silences in a row. Oh yeah, the expansion hype is real. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. You basically get to experience the game brand new all over again. You get to see a whole new like set of areas and just the world expanding so much and the exploration. Yeah, at least no mimics. Yeah, if we had mimic on top of the silence and pacify it, dude. Oh, dude. Going through this, just I'm trying to level my dancer, but I'm also going for time-worn artifacts. So the quest didn't say, or doesn't say, that it needs to be a certain level. I think we just, after 10 floors, we get the chance to get a time-worn artifact. I haven't gotten one yet. It's just random instead of guaranteed like Delibrum. Yeah, now that I have Golbez in Opera Omnia, I want to see him as a boss in Pandemonium. I'm definitely going to be doing Heaven on High runs with people. For like, it's going to be a party of 4 Reapers. Just like when Samurai came out, it was a party of 4 Samurai in Palace. It's going to be parties of 4 Reapers in Heaven on High. Ah, that sucks. Yeah, toxicity isn't prevalent in this game, but it does happen. And I feel you there. I left the server because of it. The first static I tried to join, I wasn't a great person in general back then anyway, but they definitely were a part of the problem. As much flack as Stormblood gets, I still liked it as an expansion. Story still was scattered. I think you can still make that as a fair criticism, but I enjoyed it. Considering that if you're wanting Archfiends, considering Pandemonium is like the layers of hell or whatever, we might have a good chance of that. Yeah, I'm just waiting for one of the bosses to start casting Twin Moon on us. I think it was Intuition or something. Not Intuition. There's one that removes detrimental effects, and you definitely don't want Gloom. So on our first run, we got to like 198, right? Got to 198, and we had Gloom. I guess we'll have to use it, but we only had 1 left, so we're like, let's just hope RNG doesn't screw us and we don't get 2 in the next floor before it. Because 200, once you hit 200, it's done. There's nothing to do in 200. It's basically floors 100 or 101 through 199 that you have to worry about. And we managed to get through 198, get into 199, and Gloom. What that does is that you can't use any items, so we couldn't get rid of traps. And so we're trying to be really careful. We're going slow. Like we're really being thoughtful about this communicating. But like near one of the walls, or as we're like trying to pull a mob to us, so we're not running through stuff, we ended up running over a luring trap. And we didn't have the succubi item to use. We couldn't transform them. It was just so unfortunate. And I think we just barely died too. And as soon as we get out, somebody who was watching the stream goes, man, if only you saved that cleanse for the last floor. That person is still on my B list. They are still blacklisted to this day. Like, thank you, Captain Hindsight. I didn't think about that. If I had somebody intentionally start stepping on traps near like 180 or something, because once you die, once you lose in Palace of the Dead, once you have a party wipe, that whole save is killed. So if I had somebody intentionally griefing that, they would be blocked right away. Like, yeah, haha, we made some jokes and like detonated some people early on, like, you know, with Corey and all that. But once we got to floor like 180 and up, it was like, all right, game face is on. We need to stop fucking around. Yeah, there are certain things that definitely are considered griefing. I agree. But what makes me laugh is the people who are like, you're not playing perfectly, or you're still learning this, and you're not playing the way I think you should be playing, or like the level I think you should be playing at. So you're griefing. Oh, you didn't fix all your muscle memory before you went into a 4-man dungeon. You're griefing. It's like, bro, chill. Like, chill. Like, seriously, chill. The level of aggro people get over dungeon content. It's like... You haven't done Savage, have you? I don't know. Savage content for me isn't a big deal anymore because it's just a matter of learning the mechanics. That's about it. Learn the mechanics in your rotation, you pretty much got it. Though I know that's, I guess, easier said than done because there's still groups that don't hit DPS checks. And I've seen people who just get so dang obstinate about the rotations. It's like you are very clearly doing things incorrectly, but obviously we can't say that, and Square doesn't do anything to help people learn. Normal mode is a good indicator, but sometimes they'll switch things, like they'll flip it. I feel like they flipped it before, or was it just between one fight in a dungeon? Yeah, if you got a good group that's willing to teach and you are willing to learn, you're in good shape. You're in very good shape. When you miss any of those, then it gets really frustrating. Because even among our friends, we had people who were like really unwilling to teach. Shit. Or like really impatient. Like we would go in blind with the understanding that we were blind, have a couple people that were really impatient and would look up guides, and then get really frustrated when people did it wrong. You know what? Yeah, let's just go. Let's just go. Let's just go. Let's just go. I'm done with being silenced. Might not have screwed as a solo player. I mean, yeah, if you want to do group content, you got to get with a group. But there's plenty of stuff to do, like, and enjoy the game solo. I'm not saying you have to be in Savage in order to do well. You can still pug, but pug groups are just notorious for sticking their heads in the sand and kind of just adhering to strats and stuff without understanding why. So they're like, we're doing this strat because the guide said to, but they don't actually know why the guide says it, so they don't actually understand the mechanics that are going on, so then they can't adjust or fix anything if it's going wrong. Not efficient strats, but lazy strats. I think that's my biggest gripe with Party Finder, just the stories that I hear, is that they would much rather be lazy than efficient. And I'm all for being efficient and finding, like, if you got a cheese strat, by all means. But if you're wiping the whole group just so that the healer can raise you, so that you don't have to deal with a mechanic instead of saving it for, like, melee LB, I have a big issue with that. Unless it's something like Nisi. That's too widely accepted to contest at this point. I mean, I think those... Yeah, the Happy Brambles, I think, was just because it was early. And that's what they came up with. And no disrespect to the people who come up with the guides, because they have to put them out so early, and the pressure from that is pretty significant. Like, you still have to do a good job, but it's definitely a do it fast, then do it best kind of a thing. Even to the point of sometimes they don't even clear it themselves. So yeah, people would rather, like, be able to point to a video and be like, okay, this is what we're doing. Here's the example. You can see it visually. Then, like, come up with their own or do something that's not quite as readily split. So that's why I did it. I was actually really surprised that Raya hadn't found... Like, I got a lot of pushback when we called it the Nest strat, which is Sam's strat, for Seed of Sacrifice. No, I was just doing the joke. This is the strat that nests. This is Nest strat, the Nest strat, and people are like, no, it's somebody else's strat. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Somebody else came up with it. But almost, like, nobody from our group knew about it. So that's when I told Raya, like, hey, I posted this video about it. Like, it took me a while, but I posted it. And he's like, oh, thank you so much, because now I can show my farm groups. And I was like, oh, I guess he hasn't seen it. Like no other thing has been popularized. But the video that somebody, when people were like, no, you can't call it the Nest strat because somebody else had, like, posted it first. I was like, all right, fine, it's whatever. It's still the strat that Nest did, so. And it's not like I tried to publicly take credit. It was an unlisted video that I shared for people who were following me on Twitter specifically. But yeah, like when I looked at it, it had like 2,000 views. And I was like, oh, well, pardon me for not knowing that this was a major thing. Yeah, and I didn't even think about it when I put it out there, because I was like, yeah, people are gonna come up with these strats, whatever. Like, I don't need to. That's not my job. That's not my role. I'm not that great at it anyway. Our group does pretty well, but like we're usually late to the party anyway. So, I waited like 2 weeks because I was working on a video, and then I actually got to that video, and I was like, all right. And I only threw it up because Raya had that reaction of, oh, thank you, now I can show the group. Because that implied that he hadn't seen anything, and usually he's pretty good about all that, so. That reminds me that since we're talking about stupid Reddit responses I got throughout my career, if you can call it that. I still remember somebody, I posted my video to the subreddit, and this is like after Nest has been pretty well established. So, but I was still, I posted the video on the subreddit, and somebody commented like, why should I care about you? And I'm like, you shouldn't. The fuck? What is that response? So, yeah, I was just like, okay, dude, just chill. Actually, there was one recently. I got one recently. That was really funny. Like, it was so out of nowhere. Like, I posted I think it was our E12 clear. They're like, oh, you laugh and do the fight. That's like every other party finder. And then they went on like saying it's a mediocre video or whatever. Like, thanks for the mediocre video. And I was like, what crawled into your shorts and died, dude? Like, when at any point in my video did I say, we're awesome, we're great, we're amazing? I said I was awesome quite a few times, actually. Because I was really proud of myself for coming up with so many strats. Yeah, can't laugh anymore. Everybody else does it in Party Finder. We're just copying. Like, I never get why people take the time to leave comments like that. Unless we were, like, particularly upset, but we didn't share any, like, controversial opinions. We didn't make fun of anybody for once. Like, it was pretty low-key. It was just very bizarre. But then they're like, oh yeah, they were like, let me know when you get good at the game. I was like, no, we don't do that here. Sorry, dude. That's not allowed. I don't know if I deleted that. Usually I'll remove comments that I think are problematic. Funnily enough, it's the really chill content that we get the most douches in the comments. Like, my stuff with my wife, people get so mean in the like, tell her to do this. I can't believe she's not doing this. It hurts me that she's not doing this. I'm like, guys, it's a dungeon and normal mode 8-man stuff. Shut up. No, if we so here's the thing with those people on that world first comment. They wouldn't care if we got world first. All they would say is, wow, I guess world first is pretty easy if these guys can do it. Because they did that to, like, I heard people make that comment to Mr. Happy, of all people. And it's just, they're just hating to hate. They're just mad about something, and they're going to take any reason they can to hate it. Like, there's no pleasing them, and I don't intend to, because why waste my time? Yeah, it's just like, we're going through content, we're talking, we're relaxing, we're not going hard on anything. And, like, we're just trying to, she hasn't been able to play a whole bunch, and people just getting so rude. She should be able to figure out her stuff before she goes into the dungeon. I can't believe that she's not learning all that stuff. She's actively griefing because of, I'm just like, guys, she looked at everything, she reoriented her bars, she knows where everything is, but, like, she's got to get her muscle memory back. That's a big part of it, and got to figure out the new dungeon and where to heal, and she took criticism, like constructive, actual, legitimate criticism. It's not like she was sticking her head in the sand and being like, no, you guys, I'm playing it the right way. Meh. Just, that really bothered me, that we're just trying to have a really chill time. And most people are really cool about it. They're like, oh, I like this content. This is like super sweet and you guys are cute and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, then the people who are just like, you really should be getting better at this. If you're not doing this in a dungeon, it's really like inhibiting the rest of the group's play. And it's like, oh my goodness, unsub please. Comments like that seem like it's just pure bait, and I'd probably take it. Same as the people who like try and diss Yoshi P. Like, everybody thinks Yoshi P's so great. He's not really that great. I'm like, we wouldn't have this game if not for him. I don't care if it's bait. I'm gonna speak the truth here. There's still one person that keeps coming into my comments. Anytime I bring up, like, especially the you tank it, you pull it, or like the whole griefing thing, they come into my comments. They don't follow me on Twitter. They don't follow my YouTube channel, but they always come in to leave a comment. I'm like, dude, you're a little worked up there, aren't you? Yeah, it's one of those things where those types of comments are like, wow, somebody's really this like so far up their own ass about it, huh? No, I can hide them. I can hide them from my channel. There was one other person that at first I thought they were just kind of like teasing, but then they were like getting increasingly rude about it. So like I was just picking up Black Mage and I didn't hit Enochian all the time in my rotation. I just kind of forgot about that it was there. I went into the other parts of the rotation. And of course, I'm looking back at the footage at myself being like, Drac, what the hell? But then they're in the comments like, I can't believe every time like Drac can play any new caster horribly or something like that. Just basically dunking on my gameplay. And I was like, bro. Yeah. No, I still do what I want. It's just kind of one of those things where I'm like, I don't need that negativity in my life. And just the fact that it just boggles my mind how far people will go just to be angry at something. Like, they're actually putting effort into being mad. I'm just like, why are you like this, man? Why are you like this? Why you gotta be like that? Yeah, it's a weird mental thing, but I'm just like, man. So I try not to engage too much. Or I'll give it one attempt to respectfully engage, and, you know, if I disagree, I disagree. You're like, alright, you know, this is why I don't think that's the right mentality to go into, and they just double down. I'm just like, okay, well, I guess we're not going to agree on this. Just because it's the internet doesn't mean... I'm not going to use... Obviously, I don't have anonymity anymore, but I'm certainly not going to use the excuse that just because they can't hit me through the screen that I'm going to make them mad enough to want to. I've had moments in my, even in my Discord, where I have to get people to calm down. It's okay that the person doesn't agree with what you have to say. They're not mean about it. Like, no, but what I'm trying to say is, I'm like, just let it go. Just let it go. Yeah, as soon as somebody starts to get, like, rude about something, it's like, okay, so they don't want to really engage, they just want to fight. And I'm like, I don't understand that. It doesn't feel good. Like, there's a rush to being angry. But, yeah. And then I have people correcting my pronunciation of things. That's always fun, to get a whole bunch of those comments. The thing with the Dalriada is that I initially read it as Daliadra. I'm like, okay, no, it's Dalriada. And then I'm like, wait, which was the pronunciation I got wrong? And so then I go back and forth between them. And somebody's like, ha, you said it wrong. Ah, Drac, you got it wrong. I'm like, yeah, I know, I got it. I mean, I still think people still say Charybdis wrong. I had to actually look up how to pronounce that. It's not Charybdis. It's Charybdis. But I don't bother correcting people because I'm like, I get annoyed by it, so I'm not going to then do it to other people. Yeah, I'm in that stage of really being into Opera Omnia right now. It'll have to kind of like rub me the wrong way for me to get rid of it, but I'm really enjoying it right now. A lot of progress to have. Like, it's constant improvement and progression, and it's really easy to do so. They're not very stingy about it, so that's really cool. I enjoy that. I played Dragalia a lot, and then when I was doing fights near the end content, it went beyond just you need this resistance, you need that resistance. It was people just wouldn't take you into content if you didn't have this unit specifically for this meta, and so I put it down for the most part, as much as I think that the game is pretty fun, and you still do have to strategize to who you bring in, but then they still have these units that are super OP and are consistently the ones that are brought into everything. So that took out some fun of it. I'm just like, I kind of want to just play the freaking game, and I don't have the focus to manage the group I have in there, that alliance in there, to make groups like that. Even though that is a solution, I know that. And then XIV with the they did something that Summoner's War did that I really didn't like, and that was have too much focus on debuffs, like debuffing bosses. Oh, that's gonna hurt. No, not too bad. The issue is that you need like a certain level of effectiveness, which is their like debuff accuracy, in order to debuff certain bosses, which you like. Some bosses require debuffs to not roll over you. So Wyvern for one, it's handy on Golem if you want to get that defense break. So I ended up getting like 100. First at 65, which is still difficult to get, but I eventually managed to get a few units with like 80 to 100 effectiveness. But they still have the thing where it's RNG. Like, you just have a better chance now. That there's no such thing as a 100% chance to debuff. And people are like, well, then that wouldn't be fun. I'm like, it's not fun to have all these resources put into this gear for debuffing that then doesn't even debuff half the time. You have to get lucky, and I want my effort put into this gear to be rewarded. And so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm in a very rough situation. I ended up being able to do pretty well in floor 13s of XIV farming. Yeah, it's just a pain in the butt. To like look back and just see, oh, you're on your like third failure. Oh, they got it. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, it's so pretty. Good horsey. It's a good horsey. You're a good mount. I want you. I want you. One day I'll have you. I've already gotten to floor 200, and it's such a pain in the butt. There should be start at floor 1, start at floor 51, and start at floor 101. Gosh, I hate having to start at floor 50. You get it from a gold trim sack, which only drops from floor 100 and up. Or is it 150 and up? Is it 150 and up? Or is it 100 and up? I forgot. 150. Yeah, see, that's what makes it so rough. Because it takes about 2 to 3 hours just to get from 100 to 150. Oh no, it's not getting to 150 from 100 takes 2 to 3 hours. Getting from 50 to 150 takes like 2 to 3 hours. And yeah, I want to get a group together to do it more consistently, but it's like scheduling, and I hate scheduling. I hate scheduling. Actually, you know what? Fun times. Hang on. You guys want to try and do E9? Some people were like, do you ever raid with your viewers? We're going to try and raid with the viewers. Yeah, we're doing Savage. I don't expect to clear. Right now we are doing a E9 Savage with viewers. Or at least we're going to attempt it. I'm so hot, guys. I have 2 fans on me. I have 2 fans. I'm turning up the other fan. Fuck it. It's about to get noisy. It was almost on full anyway. It's still so gosh dang hot. Oh, I don't think it's a heat wave, it's just Arizona. I need to... I might use this Twitch money to renovate this room. Like no joke, because I just got finished paying off this new door because the one that we had before was literally warped from the heat, so it was bowed, so it wouldn't close all the way, and there were little gaps letting in all the summer air. So that needed to change, especially with all my streaming gear. But now the sun hits this side of the house when I'm streaming. and there's no circulation. So one thing I have to do here, so over up there is where I want a vent that just connects to the hallway in there. Like, yeah, I'll have to be quiet at night, or maybe I'll like have an option to close it so that I can kind of muffle some of the sound. Yeah, I like those. I got that from the last Comic-Con that I went to like 4 years ago now. Anyway, or like, what's it, 3? Anyway, I want something up there. I have this evaporation cooler. Blah, blah. So it's that Evapolar that I have on me. And then I just got this from Bed Bath & Beyond, this Vornado thing that's supposed to be like super good at circulating. But it does, but it doesn't cool the air, it just increases airflow. So I have the vent up there, but then it has nowhere to go. Like, it has the windows to be against and the door, which is being heated. So there's nothing to go. There's nowhere for the air, so it just comes in from that hallway, if anything, and then it just stays here. So it just comes in here and sits. And it's just super, super hot. Alright, we need one more person. It looks like we're looking for a healer. You don't have to be good at the game. We're going to be nice to you. We're doing E9 Savage, Primal Data Center, 1100. Come on, healer. Come on, healer. Actually, Sonic, you want a tank? You want a tank, Sonic? Sonic, you want a tank? You want a tank? Never mind. Clockwise, rotate clockwise. Oh no. Alright, so far so good. Alrighty, and I'm gonna call it for the day. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make sure everything's good with the kids. They've been quiet since I left over there, but I'm also going to enjoy some better circulated AC in the living room there. So, thank you for everybody hanging out. I'm not talking over that right now. That'll be okay. Thank you, everybody who's just coming in here for the Fat Black Chocobo event. Hope to see you in the future. We're going to be doing some raids, hopefully tomorrow. We should be doing raids tomorrow. I'm sure I'm going to have to remind a few people that we're doing raids tomorrow. I wish we lived in closer proximity so I could staple the schedule to some people's foreheads. But anyway, we'll be doing some more 12 just to make sure that we don't get any rust on us. Until Corey gets back, we'll do our final run, and then we'll start doing some tea. For about a month, we'll have to wait, I think, a week and a half for Sophie to be done with her vacation, and then we'll go back to it again. But in any case, thank you guys for hanging out. Hope you have a great rest of your night. God bless you all, and we'll see you next time on the stream. I'll have to figure out when Corey's getting back up, too. But, well, yeah, we should be still going. Anyway, bye.